You're still watching the Diamond News Desk at 8, and now time for our mining news update. And coming up in the news today is Chong Chingola MP, who has condemned the poor working conditions at Faran Mining. That's what the story we have for you today in the mining news update.
Given the opportunity in 2013, and since then I haven't looked back. So growing up in Kitwe, I lived in Nkana East, so I could always look up to the slag dumps that always used to tip off at 1800. So you'll know them today as Black Mountain. But as a youngster from my house, I could actually look across Nkana East and see the slag dumps, and it always was as a young boy an exciting and interesting thought about, well, that's the end product, what happens before that? And I don't think I quite understood and appreciated how complex and how interesting the mining process can be, whether it's underground or open pit. But I certainly wanted to know more about it. I was endeared to it. And further growing up at that particular point, First Quantum had just opened up the Bonamakubwa mine. And the idea of a mine that was previously closed now being reopened with the entrepreneurship idea that it can actually yield value and return an operating entity into the industry always made me feel that this was an entrepreneurial company that I wanted to be a part of.
And now the news in detail. Chingola Constituency Member of Parliament Chipoka Mulenga has expressed outrage over what he describes as deplorable working and living conditions at Faran Mining and Metallurgy, Zambia. Mr. Mulenga, who paid an unannounced visit to the company, says he was shocked to find employees working in hazardous environments without adequate protective gear. The MP was equally disturbed by the poor living conditions where workers are reportedly crammed into overcrowded and poorly ventilated rooms with up to 8 people sharing a single space. Some workers also complained of excessive working hours with little rest, saying many of them are now suffering from persistent backaches and other health complications.
An impromptu visit by Chingola Member of Parliament Chipoka Mulenga has laid bare shocking conditions at Faran Mining and Metallurgy, Zambia. The lawmaker says his act that workers are subjected to hazardous environments with little protection only for ordinary face masks issued per month despite constant exposure to heavy dust emissions.
You're telling me you're a safety supervisor, but you're giving up an to the FEFO, Mumweshi. These are disposable. 2 hours now, Posak.
I think I can respond on that one.
Okay,
I think that actually there was nothing like that being given in the first place. To fight for at least something that will help them from the dust, direct exposure to dust. Until I fought so hard with my colleague here, and until I just found that they had ordered these things.
Mr. Mulenga was equally disturbed by the living arrangements with as many as 8 workers forced to share a small, poorly ventilated room.
Yes, sir.
Are you happy with the toilets there?
No, sir, I'm not.
Are you okay that your people are using the toilets?
No.
Are you happy that your people are eating from the floor?
Not at all.
Are you going to do something about it?
Yes, definitely.
The lawmakers questioned how agencies like ZEMA and the Public Health Department over the council could allow the company to operate under such conditions.
Much compromise. So we need to speak the same language His Excellency is talking about, saving our people. You find that most of the administrative officers who are charged with going around these industries to do our tasks, we are sitting in offices.
Some workers also complained of excessive working hours with little rest, leaving many struggling with health complications, including persistent backaches.
Following them up 2 days night, then 2 days my off.
The company has committed to improving the conditions of workers.
So where are the directors here?
The translator, I think they've gone out to, they're in probably in Kitwe, somewhere. They are going to submit the PTS with Zema and come back to Kitwe at MST. So apparently, I don't know the time they will come through.
Mlenga has reminded foreign investors that profits should never come before the health and dignity of Zambian workers. Love Mosondash for Diamond News in Chingola.
Well, that's the only news story we have for you today when it comes to the mining news update. It's now time for us to take a look at some mineral commodities.
Mining news sponsored by First Quanta Minerals Limited, operating Kansanshi Mining PLC, and FQM Trident Limited.
Well, today is the 24th of September, and by end of business day today, these were some of the prices when it comes to the mineral commodities. And first up on the list is aluminium. By end of business day, it was selling at $2,638. That was a closing price, and it saw a downward adjustment of 0.26%. When it comes to copper, its closing price was $9,974.50. It saw an upward increase of 0.02%. Zinc saw a downward decrease of 0.9% or 0.19%, and for it, the closing price was $2,888.50. For nickel, it's $15,354. That was a closing price, whereas the percentage of the particular mineral saw an upward increase of 0.93%. For lead, it was $2,002, which was a closing price, and it saw an upward increase of 0.818%. I beg your pardon. For tin, the closing price was $34,302, and it saw an upward increase of 0.84%. Well, those are your mineral commodities in the mining news update tonight, which also concludes this particular segment of the Diamond News Desk, which also continues shortly after this.
Mining news sponsored by First Quanta Minerals Limited, operating Kansanshi Mining PLC, and FQM Trident Limited.